Salvete, Guten Tag, um, Bonjour, Buenos Dias, or something like that. I think I screwed up that last one. Hello, welcome back to school. This is going to more or less be a video introduction that deals with foreign language. And the reason why I'm making this is because I am expecting a foreign language curriculum in the post today. Hopefully it'll come today. So before I go into talking about what that is, I'm gonna run through real quickly because it's pretty short of what languages I have studied in my past history. In junior high school, I took Spanish and German. Spanish, I really don't remember much. German, I don't remember much that first year, but I did take it later in high school through a distance learning, which is really not good for language learning. Yeah. But I did really well in German. I could spell in German better than I could in English. I think the only thing that I had a rough time with in German was the sentence order, like where the verb goes and all this stuff. I don't think I did very well on that, but I was okay with speaking it and spelling, writing. Let's see. Then in several years later, I took French at the technical school, and I totally botched French. I did not do very good at French at all. The only thing I really remember from French class is gami, and that's basically a word for scales. I think jouer gami is to play scales or something like that. Yeah, that's about as far as my French goes. Other than parlez-vous français? Yeah, the interesting thing about the French class was the textbook. You know how when you're learning a language, you get all the pronouns and you got the English and then you got the French or whatever language you're learning. In those charts, I would actually write in the German, and then I would just like translate straight from the German because I was really good at translating from the German at that point. And I just could not find the reading from the French. Like, I found it really difficult. And just reading in French was really hard because of all the extra letters and all the, not knowing how the word sound lines up with the actual letter groups. It seemed like the word was like 10 feet longer than what you were saying. That's what it felt like to me. So that is French. The item I've got coming through the post right now is Latin. And I have no interest in, reading the works of, I don't know, some Latin people, like Julius Caesar or Julius Kaiser, however you say it, or Cicero or Cicero. I guess there's like two different forms. There's classical Latin and ecclesiastical Latin. I am more acquainted with ecclesiastical Latin from all the different singing that I've done. Everything that I've sung in Latin, as far as like glorias and requiems and things like that, large works, have all been done using ecclesiastical Latin. The Classical Latin, I'm not as familiar with, other than the W's. No, there's no W. The V makes the W sound. Um, and I think that's like the only um, major pronunciation, other than a couple minor stuff with like vowels and stuff. Um, so, if I have no interest in learning about the works of these great Latin Roman people, why am I learning Latin? Um, this. I sing in Latin on a pretty daily, not daily, but um, weekly basis. Um, and so I was talking with the vicar at the church where I'm learning organ from. I hope you guys can see that. I was talking with him about, yeah. I was talking with him just in general, just talking. We're talking a little bit about music. He likes music. He likes the Little Fugue in G minor by Bach. He likes that one. And then we're somehow talking about that. We talking about music. We somehow obviously got into Latin, and I told him, yeah, I sing in a choir that sings in Latin, and I just totally make up my own Latin because I can't read the words. He's like, oh, I could help you with that. It's like, really? So yeah. So since then, we've been doing Latin. The interesting story behind this is we just ran through the propers. No, not the propers. We ran through the ordinaries of the Latin Mass. We did the Asparagus Mei, the Kyrie, the Gloria, the Credo, the Sanctus, the Agnus Dei, and the Ite Missa Est. We went through all those and took a while. The Gloria and the Credo were the longest by far. We went through those, and while we were going through those, he was talking about all this grammar stuff. This is why there's an MUS, and after all these words, the verb has to line up with the noun, and I don't know, just a bunch of stuff that I really didn't understand. And so when we got done with that, I had ordered a book that basically taught Latin grammar and like sentences and vocabulary. And so he himself had, purchased a book because, it was a quick order off of Amazon. And so he had, we started working through this book. We started with chapter 1, which dealt with like simple verb conjugations. And, I remember conjugations from my German, so that wasn't horribly too hard. It was just memorizing a new set of conjugations. And so then, after that lesson, we went through, we started looking at lesson 2, or chapter 2, which dealt with the first declension. And so he's looking through this book, and he's like, God, I really don't like how they have this stuff presented. And I was thinking, I don't like how they don't have charts in here, like real charts. And so it was like, we were both not liking the book. There's some stuff with the nouns that he didn't really like. And the way that they were presented, they were just like not presented correctly, I guess. I don't know. I don't know as much as he does, but I'm assuming he probably knows more of how nouns and verbs should be presented than I do. So we went through those, and we both kind of agreed silently that this was not a really good book. So I feel bad because I bought a copy plus the answer key, and then he bought a copy, and it's like, yeah, this is not gonna work. But I'll keep it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I'll keep it for now. So I went online, and I really wish that I had thought about this earlier because it would have saved us a whole lot of time. There is um, uh, I can't speak, a publishing company called Memorial Press. Um, I'll put their website and YouTube stuff in the description. Um, and they do basically classical curriculum, like all of their whole textbook stuff that they print and teach from is all like classically based on the trivium and the quadrivium, if memory serves me correct. Like the trivium is like the different stages of learning. You have your grammar stage, and then your logic stage, and then your rhetoric stage. Grammar is basically you're learning the foundations. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you don't learn the grammar of what you're studying, you're not going to get very far. The logic stage is when you're starting to apply that grammar stage. You're starting to actually, write sentences and things like that, or work with the numbers, whatever. I mean, this works with any subject. It doesn't have to be like literally Latin or anything, or even English. It works with anything. And then there's your rhetoric stage when you can actually teach the material to another person or be able to explain all the stuff that you've learned. And then there's another concept called the quadrivium, which are the different branches, if I'm not mistaken, of like the liberal arts or something. Like there's different, I don't know, there's different branches. I used to know that because I was like, when I first learned about it, I was like, oh, that's so cool. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll make a video about that when I brush up on it. But Latin is one of their subjects that they teach. In fact, the founder of this school says that Latin is like the main course. Everything revolves around Latin. And I think she says that because Latin is so organized and structured, and it's so neat, if that makes sense. So versus like English is, English is not always neat. So that's what that is. So I found this website. I learned about it, several years ago. They have couple different courses for Latin. They've got the elementary levels, which are like your second year or your second grade, and then your third grade, which your second grade is called Latina Prima or Prima Latina. I think it's Prima Latina. And then your third year or third grade is called Latina Cristiana. There's a lot of videos about both of those because, that's where most people begin when they're teaching younger people. Students. Well, they are people too. But then you go into like your junior high school levels, which is where you're learning the grammar more at an intense level. Like you're learning more material, you're learning more vocabulary, there's more recitation, things like that. These are in their curriculum. They have it as the form series, so they've got first form, second form, third form, and fourth form. By the time you finish these, you should be up to like 9th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade level. So about high school. And then after the forms, you go into what's called the Henley Latin courses, which from what it sounds like, you read Virgil and Caesar and you basically translate their words. I don't know. um, but yeah, um, that's basically all of their courses in a nutshell. So initially, I was going to start with the Prima Latina and the Latina Christiana, and I thought, well, I only have this guy with me that I'm working with for like a year because then he's going to have to go back to school. Um, and so um, I thought, okay, I'll just bite the bullet and I'll get the entry junior high course. So I bought that, and there's a whole lot of work involved with it. So lots of vocabulary. There's quizzes and tests. There's recitation, which I should love recitation. I don't do enough of it. Um, and then there's flashcards. And then I was looking through the website and I found they had like grammar recitation, like a grammar recitation set. So I bought that, which it looks like it comes with grammar flashcards and a book that goes with it. Like, you know, when you get to chapter 4, do these flashcards, recite these declensions or whatever. I don't know. And then recently I just found that they have a recitation CD. Whether or not if I'm going to get that, I don't know. But that's pretty much what I have. And then I bought a couple, I guess they call them like table desk charts. So I'm assuming they've got charts that obviously fit on your desk of all the different conjugation forms and things like that. So, yeah. We're probably going to start with the first lesson because their sample pages has lesson 1 complete in the student book. So that'll give us something to work on until the actual hard textbooks come in. So that'll be interesting. Oh, and the thing also, it comes with DVDs. Well, the set I bought comes with DVDs. I think usually you could get like the online thing and then you could like tack on the DVDs. I just now learned about that. For like $10 you could add the DVDs. Don't quote me. Prices are subject to change. But yeah, I was like kicking myself in the head because it's like, oh gosh, I could have like been watching some of this stuff already. But like it did come with like a bunch of pronunciation stuff. Like that stuff came like digitally, I guess. And then there was a bunch of like grammar conjugation forms or something. I guess you can like reproduce those and use those for conjugating verbs and declining nouns and stuff. And then of course you got the quizzes and tests, which are also in that. And I think there's a couple other stuff, but vocabulary words and some other stuff. But that's pretty much where that is going. It'll be interesting to see how much of this will actually like flood my brain, if that makes sense. In the sense of like listening to the dude up in the front talking in Latin, how much of it I'm gonna understand. That'll be interesting. That's one of those things I'm really debating if I want to see if I can find a Vulgate copy of the Bible. I don't know. I don't know. But I thought that'd be kind of interesting. But yeah. So that concludes what is happening with the Latin studies. I don't want to add on anything else because I need to do some other homework right now. So, with that being said, if you want to like, share, and subscribe, and do I dare say valute valute, I forget how to say goodbye. But Oh, real quick, here's a funny story for the hello. Um, when I would greet my Latin teacher, I'm just gonna call him my Latin teacher. when I would greet my Latin teacher, I would say servus or something, or servete, or I don't know, some weird word. So servus is like servant or slave or something like that. It's kind of funny. Um, but I'm thinking with this structured course, um, like every time that there's a lesson, there's like a greeting of salvete. So I'm sure once I get used to hearing that, I will get used to hearing these words and stuff. So that's gonna be the end of this video because I need to do my other homework. If you want to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget, ring the notification bell for all notifications.